Ducks fans, are you ready? You are listening to the Ducks and Pucks podcast. This is the number one home for Anaheim Ducks talk and analysis. Here we go.
Welcome to the show. This is your host, Mike Walters, along with my co-host, Eddie Richard, and we are back for the Ducks in round two, baby, against the Vegas Golden Knights. And so we're going to break it down for you. This show may not be as long as our normal one. We did already go over the Ducks defeating the Oilers in our last show, and you can listen to that. But this one, we're just going to do another preview show and just basically talk about the matchup. So,
Hey Mike, hold on
yeah,
real quick. You said round what?
two.
Round two. Hell yeah, baby.
How are you feeling, Eddie? What do you think? I know we kind of shared our initial thoughts, but now that we know, we had talked about if it's going to be Utah or Vegas, and the last show it ended up being Vegas. Like, what's kind of your initial thought as we go against the Golden Knights in this round?
Mike, I am like a drug addict right now. I'm high off that game six win still. Like I haven't got over that game six win. Um, we know who we're gonna play, and we're confident now, but it just still have that like the fan in me just that has all that momentum just keeps going. Like, man, I'm just let's go, let's get ready. It's kind of weird, Mike, that we talked about it yesterday that how the second round of the playoffs starts when the first round's not even over yet. We still have what a Tampa and Montreal, game seven still going on, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good matchup, Mike, and I'm glad that we're here. Like, not everyone gets that invitation to be the prom king, and not everyone can be the prom king, but it's good to actually get the invitation to go there. So, oh, I'm just like fired up for it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm super excited. I mean, we'll dive into some of the stuff right now. I think the Ducks, like you mentioned, the way that they played in Game Six, if they can come out and play like that in this series, I think they can win this series. And
Oh yeah.
I'll hold our predictions till the end because our predictions are going to be, well, you'll see, they're going to be a little bit different, but we'll talk about it. But yeah, the momentum that they had in that Game Six, if they can carry that on, that will be huge. And I really think some of the different storylines that we can kind of talk about for this series. One of the first ones is obviously going to be from playing from behind. That's something that we discussed. The Ducks' first period in game one, four, and five was completely disastrous. They did come back in the game four, as you and I witnessed in person, and they did, but they got behind by multiple goals in those three games and had some problems. The other two that they got down by a goal each are able to come back, and then of course game six they turned it on. And Vegas has been in the same boat. Vegas has been behind. They've had to rally a lot in the third period to win some of those games against Utah, and then they took control and won in their game six. And kind of cruised to an easy victory there. So two kind of mirror images there of this team playing from behind. I joked with my buddy. I talked to Ken over at Sin Bin Vegas about this matchup, and I said, maybe one team doesn't want to have the lead in the third period. Maybe they both want to play from behind because they're so used to it. I mean, I don't even know where to start, but no, I don't want it. I don't want them to be in that boat. I want the Ducks to come out strong in that first period, like they did in Game Six, like you talked about, Eddie. So to me, that's a huge part of this is the first period, getting off to those better starts because they got outplayed in the first period against the Oilers in 5 out of 6 of those games in the first period, and then the second period was the Ducks period. So I'm really curious to see how it goes. That Vegas building is super super loud. The way that they've built
Oh
it,
yeah.
it's crazy. It's crazy in there. So if the Ducks get behind by multiple goals early, especially in these first two games on the road, it could be bad. The Ducks could be looking at a deficit coming home, and who knows, maybe an exit. Which again, I'll save our predictions. But what are your thoughts on the Ducks and those early starts, and how you're feeling? With both these guys, both these teams being comeback kid additions of themselves in round one.
Well, Vegas has more experience. Like they've been there, they've been in the show. They have a new coach too. We forgot to mention that. They fired their coach within what like it's like the 10 last games, and it was really controversial throughout the whole league. They brought in Torts. He's been amazing. Carter Hart's been playing really well for them as well. Um, they have to they have to bring their A game They can't just go in there and say, "Hey, we swept the season series, and we're gonna mop over Vegas." No, it's not gonna happen that way. Vegas is a different team, different coach. They're playing different too than they played the Ducks the last few games. They played them. So, I mean, I guess if you want to say that the whole Air Force term, it's gonna be a dogfight, Mike. They're gonna battle. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I agree exactly with what you're saying. I think for sure it will be a dogfight. You brought up a good point too that some people talked about in the regular season. The Ducks swept Vegas in 3 games. So there's a lot of people out there saying, oh, the Ducks took them out in the regular season. They're going to
Nope.
steamroll them. There's some people, not I don't think a lot,
Yeah.
but there's been some that are like, oh, we got Vegas, we got their number. Okay, timeout. Let's rewind the clock here. The Ducks did sweep Vegas in the regular season at all 3 games. And all 3 games were 1 goal, ironically, 4-3 scores, with two
Yep.
of them going to overtime. So anybody thinking that the Ducks are going to steamroll Vegas, like just stop right now, timeout, no. And as you alluded to, they have a different coach, right? Controversial. They got Torts in the last couple weeks of the season. I remember even talking to my buddy Ken at Sinbin, and he was like, "What the heck was going on?" And then, of course, they're the team on the West or the Pacific Division that went on a run, won the division. When at the time the Ducks were the ones that were up there, and Edmonton was in the mix, and both of those teams fell behind. Not far. We all know it was a tight race, but I'm just saying, Vegas started, winning more games and pulled it out. So, you talk about coaching. That I mean, obviously we have Coach Q too. A guy's, maybe won a couple Stanley Cups, like we joked about
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. A
Just won a
couple,
few,
right?
won a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
What a
So
loser.
yeah, yeah, this guy, So I still think Coach Q, of course, is that goes for the Ducks. But with Torts in there, you can't count him out. I mean, that guy's got this team playing well, as you said. It's not the same team that the Ducks played. They played Vegas earlier in the season, if you remember. They didn't really kind of got those 3 games out of the way and didn't see him for a couple months. So this is a different team, new coach. And I think, like you said, Eddie, it's going to be a dogfight. I think the other part of this is going to be interesting is the goalie matchup. I think
Yep.
Dostal is better than Carter Hart
Yep.
overall.
100%, Mike. 100%.
Overall, but we need the Dostal that showed up later on in the series, as we talked about in the last show. Dostal, he gives up those first shot goals. He's been shaky in the first period. He needs to tighten up those first periods. If he can do that, then this may be a shorter series in favor of the Ducks. But Hart isn't anybody to sniff at. Like he's not bad. I mean, 2.72 goals against, 0.898 save percentage. And that's pretty good against Utah. And obviously we had to go against the Oilers, and Dostal was a 3.87 and 0.874 save percentage. So his number not as good with the goals against, but you're also going against McDavid, Draisaitl, and that whole team as well. So the goalie thing is something that I want to watch. I think it favors the Ducks, but it's a reoccurring theme. It's going to go back to how we start in the beginning, Eddie, how we do defensively and prepare against this team. What are your thoughts on the kind of the goalie situation too?
No, no, I totally agree with you. I think Carter Hart really stepped into his role. I know he had that little controversial pass, and it kind of got to him a little bit when he did sign with Vegas, and he did start those games, but then he really got into his mode. He's a good goaltender. Like you can't um, downplay that. But if Doss can play the way we know he can play, he can get those nerves, just shake him out. Be that game 6 that we saw. Oh, it's forget about it. I think no matter what, the Ducks have the advantage in goaltending. I think Doss is a better goaltender than Carter Hart, Akari Smeed, Adrian Hill. Um, he tops all 3 goaltenders, and I think he can if he can stand on his head and be that factor in this series. I think the Ducks can easily just take this four games to none. But we'll make our predictions later, Mike. But I think goaltending is going to be a really big factor in this series.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how Dostal does. Like you said, he comes back from that game 6, plays like that. I think he'll be great. He's been much better in the second and third periods as well. So I'm looking for that. The other news too, which I know some people have mixed feelings about this, but Gudas has been practicing. He's supposed to be back sometime in the playoff mix in this round too. So I know some of you love him, some of you hate him. So we'll see. I just hope that he's 100%. That's my big thing. So that's kind of my one little X factor in this series for the Ducks on him. On the Knights side, Wild Bill Carlson, he's supposed to come back and play at some point in this series too. So it's kind of an X factor for them, but he's been out for a long, long time. Don't know, what kind of playing condition he's in or how long he's been practicing, but the word is he could be back maybe in the second, third game, somewhere in the middle of the series. So that's another one to look at and see. And another kind of mirror of each other is the way that these teams score. With their scoring is kind of spread out. They had Howden that had 4 goals and Dororiev that had 4. So those two guys, and then you've got 7 guys with 2 goals. So you've got goal scoring spread out amongst 9 players. It's very similar to the Ducks and how their goal scoring is spread out. We had Paling and Cutter with 4, and then a couple guys with 3, and then a bunch with 2. So the Ducks did score more goals in this, first series. They put in 26. Vegas put in 23. Not a big difference. Ducks gave up 21, and Vegas gave up 18. So I'm curious to see how the scoring goes. The Ducks scored more goals in the first round, but also gave up more goals. So, what are your thoughts on as far as how they match up offensively? It seems like both teams have got top 3 lines, top 9 that can score on against each other, Eddie.
I think it's going to be a bottom six battle. I think my boy Paling is going to
Yep.
have to come up big. I think the bottom six players are going to have to really come up. I mean, the top six, I think both teams are evenly matched up where they're going to shut each other down. So you don't, I don't really expect scoring from the top six. So that bottom six really has to dig deep and thrive through. You mentioned Gudis too, Mike. Yeah, it's like controversy, I guess, a bit about him coming in. We won the series without him. I know he's our captain, but he kind of rubbed me the wrong way of coming into that game against Toronto when he was still hurt, just to make a point. I think he put himself before the team, and no disrespect to him. Like I know both of us talked to him at that golf tournament, and I have so much respect for him. But I think what he did against Toronto and coming into that game just to fight Domi and stuff like that and answer the bell, it was commendable, but it was wrong because I mean, he's pretty much injured, and I don't think he'll be a factor in this series. And if he is healthy enough to come back, Mike, I don't think he should be placed in the lineup. I think we're doing good without him. But yeah, as far as you mentioned, too, going back to that, I think the bottom six is going to be a big factor in this whole series.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, because most of those games they put a Cutter Gauthier on the third line, right? So you have your 41 goal scorer down there. It throws some teams off, and I think that that gives the Ducks somewhat of an advantage as far as matchups and stuff, at least at home, right? Because they're able to match up those guys. And yeah, like you said, Paling. I mean, those guys they've been killing it offensively for this team. And you talk about VL, Washington, more on the fourth line. They've been able to shut down the top players on Edmonton, so they're going to look to do that against Vegas too. Which kind of speaking of Vegas and their scoring, I was really surprised. Our guy Eichel in fantasy hockey only had 1 goal in the first series against Utah. He did have 8 assists, so I was kind of surprised that he hasn't had more goal scoring. But
Yeah.
you can't count him out. I mean, it's Eichel, man. He's gonna get his. So that's a guy that the Ducks will have to look to slow down. Now, I'm surprised Tomas Herstell, no goals, and Riley Smith, no goals. So you've got a couple guys that haven't scored that I look at too that you don't know. They may pop off in their lineup and help them out. So I think it is
Well,
pretty
you
evenly.
forgot one thing, Mike, too.
Uh-huh.
You mentioned Awashi. His
Yeah.
face-off percentage,
Yes.
him winning face-offs. I know other people have mentioned that face-offs aren't important, but you know what? If you want to go back and look at all the Ducks wins, they win more when they win the face-offs. Like that's an important thing to do. They shut down Edmonton by winning more of the face-off. I think I want to say Washi was what 9 out of 11 that game six on face-offs. Like holy crap.
No, I mean you're right. It is a good point. That fourth line for the Ducks, they've been out there in key situations, like you said. and they've shut down the opposing players. And Washi has been an absolute stud in the faceoff circle. That's why I don't see him coming out. And I don't see, like you talked about. I kind of like the Ducks lineup the way it is. I wouldn't be upset if
Yep.
Gudis didn't play. I really wouldn't be upset if he didn't. If he sat out, I would be fine with it. The only exception maybe when you look on the blue line is we talked about this a little bit. Minchikov and Hellison they've had a couple iffy moments here and there. Not terrible, but they've had some turnovers or not clearing out the puck, things like that. So what I'm thinking they would do if he does come back later in the series is maybe Gudis comes in for Hellison. But according to Coach Q, he said that Gudis isn't ready yet for game one. So I wouldn't expect him back for that, but maybe later in the series. But if someone switches out, that's kind of what I would see is Hellison would come out and Gudis would come in. That's probably
Yep.
where that would go. But I'm with you 100%. Just keep the lineup the way it is. You know that Jansen Harkins has been practicing even after his hand surgery. I don't know if he would come in because Washi, like you said, has been killing it in the faceoffs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The only thing I could see is Johnston maybe coming in for more because I mean, if you got Johnston and VL out there, they're the Smash Brothers, right? They're just gonna fuck shit up. I mean, we saw
Oh,
VL.
the F bomb.
Yeah, I threw out one in there. Yeah, we always have one in the show, but I mean, you saw VL smash McDavid against the glass, lift him up off his skates. You saw him
Yep.
smash Draisaitl into the other Oiler player.
And
Um,
Draisaitl's big too. Like he's a big guy. Like he's not like small. So him hitting him and you see that, it's like okay, it's like you think that Draisaitl's small, but he's not. Like that dude has some meat on him.
yeah, I agree. So to me, that's the only like if they were to change anybody, and again, I don't what is it? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So
Exactly.
like just kind of leave it. But if I was to make a move, like if say Vegas was playing more physical than the Ducks, maybe Johnston in for more. That's the only other thing I could see. I just don't really see them doing a lot with this lineup change. I think that they keep it, just keep it as it is. I mean, you've been fine. Like we said, just work on those early starts. The other kind of storyline or other part of this, we keep breaking down all the different things we see in here. And you remember the storyline in series number one was the Ducks slowing down the Oiler power play, which they did a good job, and playing disciplined hockey, which the Ducks did a good job of, except in game five. Game five, they kind of lost it and run off the rails when they got down 3-0. But then they came back and took no penalties in game six. So I think that that's part of that too against Vegas, playing discipline, but it's going to be now the Ducks power play against the Vegas Knights penalty kill. The Ducks power play was 50% in the first round, and the Vegas Knights really shut down Utah. 93.8% efficiency on the penalty kill. So, Eddie, that's a big matchup I look at there is the special teams and can the Ducks get it going on the power play because the Knights were outstanding on the penalty kill in their round one matchup.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree, Mike. I think special teams is going to be a big factor in this series. I mentioned too to you offline that coaching is going to be a big strategy in this. But yeah, if the Ducks can't get it together on special teams, and I mean they're kind of effed. I'm not going to throw the F bomb, not just not yet. But yeah, they have to really get it together. No one expected the Ducks to be where they are right now, and the whole hockey media is exploding right now with the Ducks. Like everyone's just talking about them. It's crazy, Mike. I go on Facebook, I go on Instagram, I go on X. It's like the Ducks, Ducks, Ducks. Like no one expected them to be in the predicament they are right now, but they have a good chance of actually beating Vegas and going to the Western Conference Finals. So they just have to like tune up and kind of polish a little bit of here and there of special teams, and they'll be good to go.
Yeah, and you're right. Everybody is now talking about the Ducks. It's so funny now that all these people that ruled out the Ducks said that Edmonton was going
Yep.
to smoke us. There was we talked about in the last show. There was the graphic up where it was like I want to say 24 media people picked who they thought would
Well,
win the
it's
first round. Huh?
ESPN. Like, we don't
Yeah,
take them seriously, man.
I know.
ESPN.
I know, but it was funny because the Ducks social media, I love you guys. They did a good job. They made fun of them because I think it was 22 out of 24 picked the Oilers. It was something like that where it was like almost everybody picked the Oilers and they were making fun
Yep.
of them for not picking them. So I thought that was hilarious.
Verbeek's son too. do. He's funny on
Yes.
X. Yeah,
Yes.
he trolls so much. Like he's so funny. Verbeek's son, if you ever want to come on the show and just talk shit, please, you're more than welcome to. You are funny as hell.
And I know he's a fan of us too because I have replied to him on some of his posts, and he's replied back or liked him and whatnot. So he will interact with the fans as well. And you're right, dude. He posts some funny stuff on there, and I love
Oh
it.
yeah, he has
Yeah.
no filter. I love it.
I know, I love it. I wonder too if he posts stuff and Daddy Pat's like, hey, chill out. Like, you know what I mean? I wonder because I know that there's have been times he's posted some stuff and then once in a while he'll delete it and I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
bet Daddy Patty saw that and was like, hey, bro,
Oh
what are you doing, son? Like, delete
no,
that shit.
I think his son just doesn't give a fuck. He just goes and you know what? I'm gonna post this, whatever. Like I support my dad, which is cool. I love that. Like, that's
Yes.
awesome. So if you ever want to come on the show, man, you're more than welcome to. I think Mike and I would love to have you on the show.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're right, man. I mean, that is so funny how great he is. But yeah, I think all those special teams will be a factor. You did mention the face-offs. I did want to touch on that a little bit more too. Like you said, some people for some reason don't think it's a big deal. Well, Vegas Knights were 52.7% in the face-off circle in that first round. The Ducks were 48.3. So that is something to think about. I guess it could go back where I was talking about the fourth line. I talked about the physicality part, but hey, if there's some kind of issue, and say that they're just killing us in the faceoff circles, maybe you do bring in Jansen Harkins, you put him in there instead of Ian Moore, and then that way you've got another extra faceoff guy to use in the mix there. So that's something else to keep an eye on. I don't think they will do that, but it's just another food for thought item, just because of the way that the faceoffs have gone. Vegas was very, very good in the circle. And they bring their balanced attack. So I think it's going to be a good series. I think, that we're going to see what'll happen because I feel like Vegas can score more goals. I feel like they didn't score enough in that first series that we were expected that they would score. Like I mentioned, you had guys like,
Yep.
Eichel not scoring a lot of goals. That really surprised me because I hadn't followed all their games exactly because obviously we were, dealing with our situation, and most of the games. I mean, there's so many games going on, right? And some are at the same time or different times or whatever. But that was kind of a surprise to me. Mitch Marner with only 2 goals in the first round. Mark Stone too as well. Like these are guys you can't count out, right? And then of course you got former Duck also Shea Theodore in there getting 2 on the defense to lead those guys. But we've got Action Jackson Lacombe, as we've talked about. That's our guy. He's going
Yep.
to also be in there with Chuba to shut down these guys. Look for him to have another monster series. And that's another part of this too, Eddie. It's funny you talked about people talking about the Ducks and attention stuff. Well, guess what? Jackson Lacombe has arrived on the national stage now.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
everybody and their mom was like, "Who is this guy? Who's this red-haired guy? Why are they paying him so much money? Blah 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 blah." And what?
Exactly. Yep.
And you know what? He showed in the first round. He got more points than McDavid in the first round. He had a goal and 8 assists. There's more points. He led the Ducks in points. I
He's a
mean,
fucking gangster, Mike. He's a
he
gangster.
is. He is.
Man.
He is, dude. He's a freaking gangster, dude. I mean, dude, look home, dude. He is the guy. So I guess we can kind of talk about that too. I do have our little our DraftKings thing that I'll read before we kind of do our predictions and sum up. But I guess we talked about this before against Edmonton, and well, we talked about it before and after who we thought kind of were like the MVPs or impact players and whatnot. So. What do you think, Eddie, going into this series against the Vegas Golden Knights? Who would be your top, you know, we'll go with top three. Who do you think are your top 3 guys that like these guys gotta play well? I mean, I threw out Lacombe, so we probably both agree on that. But if you got 3 other different ones, that's fine too. Or if you just got one you think's best, what do you think? Who are the guys that need to deliver in this round for the Ducks to advance?
Damn, Mike, I'm usually the one that calls you out on things like this. You're calling me out. But you know what? Like you said, Lacombe, Action Jackson Lacombe, I think he has to be a factor. I think if he plays the way he played in the first round, Vegas is effed. Like they were screwed. There's no one like McDavid, and he even hurt McDavid. he just shut him down, and the way he played defensively, oh, it was amazing. I think he'll be a big factor. I think again, my boy Paling, I think the bottom six, he'll contribute and he'll throw the physicality in there. He'll put that scoring in there and he'll be a factor in it. And I want to say against Vegas, damn, I want to say against Vegas. I want to say Granlund. I think Granlund would really do a good matchup. His speed, Vegas is fast and they're physical, but Granlund's really quick and he can dodge those hits and he can get he can create chances for his team. So I think those are my top three players for this series.
No, I like who you picked. Of course I have to go with Lacombe too. I'm not going to not
Yeah.
go with him. I think I'm going to pick just some other guys to kind of mix it up. I think one of them, which actually we kind of talked about in the last show, but Chris Kreider's one that I look at that had a
Oh yeah.
he had a very sleepy first round and then exploded at
Until
the
you
end.
called him out, Mike. You called him out, and all of a sudden he just explodes with 3 points in that game six.
Yeah, he had a very quiet for the most part round. So I look we talked about Dostal, right? And him playing off game six and carrying that into this series, the whole team as well. I think Chris Kreider's another guy. I want to see more scoring out of him. He only had that one goal. He was a +4 on ice rating, fantastic, but I want to see him get going on there. I agree with you. Granlund's a big part of it. The speed game's going to be a big part of it. And I want to see. I think next on there, I look at Beckett Seneca, one
Yep.
goal. That's it. -7. He didn't. He also didn't have the greatest series in there. I think I would really look for Kreider and Seneca to kind of step up their offensive games. And obviously Seneca sometimes his puck handling is suspect, so he's got to work on that. There's no 3-on-3 overtime, thank God, in the playoffs. That's usually where Seneca. I love the kid, don't get me wrong, but he gets a little cray cray, and he tries to go for a home run when really it's like, bro, let's just try and
Yeah. Yep.
get the double, dude, get the double. We'll score on the next.
I don't know
Um,
baseball terms, but
yeah,
I guess it's like,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm just saying he tries to make the big play, on 3-on-3, and sometimes it's backfired. But that those situations don't come up obviously because it's 5-on-5 overtime. So and you rarely play 3-on-3 in the first three periods unless there's crazy penalties minutes. But those are my other two guys that I think. Because the other guys I feel like that are still got to do their job, like Paling and Gauthier with their 4 goals. I got to keep rolling. Terry with his 3 goals. Carlson, those guys all with a bunch of assists too. I look at them, and then I look at that fourth line, and like I said, I look at VL to be his physical self. And if they got to bring in big Ross Johnson, then bring him in, smack some fools around. Um, but that's what I look at. I think I don't know if you have any more thoughts on it, but if you don't, I'll do the ad read, and then we can give our predictions and kind of sum up everything if you're ready to roll with that, Eddie.
Yeah, Mike, I think we hit it off like and gave this series a breakdown what we can. So you can go ahead and read the ad read and we'll go ahead and give our predictions.
All right, so we're still part of DraftKings and the Hockey Podcast Network. The Stanley Cup playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, has a new customer offer. Bet player props, bet live from the opening faceoff, the final horn, every moment matters. New DraftKings customers bet five and you'll get 100 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN so you're ready in the moment. That's code THPN. Turn $5 into 100 in bonus bets instantly. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 8778-HOPNY or text HOPNY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states, void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Boom. There you go. What you gonna
Damn,
bet? What you
nice
gonna
ad read.
what
Nice ad read. Holy crap.
There you go. Okay, what you gonna bet now? What we doing our predictions? What you betting on? How many games and who gonna win this series? If you're gonna place your bet, Eddie, what are we thinking? We're gonna wrap up the show with
Oh,
our
you're not gonna like
bets.
my bet, Mike. You're not gonna
I know,
like my
I know
bet.
you hinted to it before when we talked on the show, and I was like, wait, what?
I think Vegas gets it in seven. I'm sorry, Ducks fans, and you guys are hate me. Mike, you probably hate me too right now, but I think Vegas takes it in seven. I think coaching outdoes it. Vegas, they know what it takes to be there, and they have players that won the cup, and Ducks are too inexperienced. As much as I want the Ducks to win, and I think they have a good chance of winning, and this is like one of the times I think I'm wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, Mike. But I think Vegas takes it in seven. I think it's going to be a dogfight. Like I said, that the whole Air Force term, dogfight. If you guys are in the Air Force, you guys know that term. But I think, yeah, I think the Vegas Golden Knights take it in seven. I think the experience is going to come. I think goaltending. I think Doss. I think a lot of our rookies, a lot of our players that don't really have that experience of being in the whole like I guess a playoff experience is going to get to them, and it's not their fault. But yeah, that's just my opinion. As much as I want the Ducks to win, I still get Vegas in seven.
No, I mean, hey, that's why you do it, and I think it's gonna be an evenly matched series.
You
We
think I'm
talked.
wrong though, right? Right?
Well, partially. I think it'll go seven games. I think it will too, and I think that the Ducks get over the hump and they pull it out. But I'm with you. I think it will go seven games. I think they're going to be close games. I think either. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Vegas did win in seven. I mean, for all the things that you talked about, I really think. Um, that could be a factor. We did have the 7 game jinx, but that was also a little while back in history. This is a completely new team, so I think if they go to a game, at least this team now, I think if they got to a game 7, I have more confidence in this team now winning a game 7 than our previous playoff teams. Our previous playoff teams, we would get to a game 7 and we all were like, "Oh crap, we're just gonna frickin' lose and we're done." And I'm not going to say I'm going to be nervous. Of course I am because game 7 will be in Vegas, unfortunately. That's going to help them out too. And like I talked about, that arena and their fans, you can say whatever you want about their fans. I know I've been to the game. Sometimes they're annoying, but that arena is loud. And if it does go to a game 7, like I said, I think the Ducks could pull it out, but it is going to be extremely difficult if it happens. But I think this will be a dogfight, like Eddie talked about. I think it's going to go back and forth. You made some great points. They've got much more recent playoff experience on this team. The Ducks have a couple guys, obviously, that have won cups and have gone deep in the playoffs, but it's only a handful. Most of this team for the Ducks, their playoff experience was last round against Edmonton. That a lot of the players on the team. So, we have a very inexperienced playoff team. Now, on the flip
Yep.
side, they showed that they could hang with the Oilers. So everyone thought the Oilers were going to smoke us in, 5 games or 6 games, and the Ducks proved them wrong. The big factors in this I look at, you talked about coaching. That's obviously a big one. I think the goalies are a big one too. Dostal's going to he's got to be a little bit sharper in this series. If he's not sharper in the series,
Yep.
Vegas might win it in less than 7, to be honest. That's going to be a big part of it. And the special teams. We talked about the Ducks power play was pretty good in that first series against Edmonton, but Vegas's penalty kill has been outstanding, almost perfect. So that's going to be a key matchup there, and just kind of see what happens. But I think it's anybody's series. I really do, and I don't think that you're wrong or I'm right or whatever. I do think this is a dogfight. I do think it goes 7 games. I think it goes the distance, and at that point, it could be anybody. But definitely Vegas to me would have the advantage in a game 7 playing at home. Just that place is just stupid. You and I have
Yep.
both been to that arena. And
Yeah.
if this is another thing I'll tell people too. If you're planning to go to the game, 1, 2, and then obviously 5, which, we don't think anybody's going to get swept, but or even if it does go to game 7, like we talked about, do not get seats down low. Now, why do I say that? Now, I get it. You want to sit down low, you want to see the glass, you want to see people hit, and you want to hear everything and then chirping each other and all that kind of stuff. That's always fun. I'm just saying, if you like your ears being blown off your freaking head, then go sit down there. Because my wife and I did that one of those New Year's games that we played Vegas, and the sound system on their lower level is ridiculous that you can't barely even think. It's stupid how loud the sound system is there. So my advice, if you go, get a seat that's more in the middle level or the higher up levels. I always like to be higher up anyways because I like to see the plays and how they
Yep.
match up and everything. But that's just my advice too for anybody that's going. That lower level, the sound is crazy. But yeah, I mean that's my take. I mean I think we're both on the same page. We think this is going to be a big battle. It's going to go all the way in the distance, and we're just going opposite at the end. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun series, Eddie. Any other kind of thoughts as we kind of wrap up before we close out this series, and obviously we'll be back and talk about it afterwards.
Yeah, no, I just want to thank everyone for for listening to us. I do want to mention too, Mike. One of the last times that you were at the Vegas Golden Knights game against the Ducks, your mom passed away. So I want to give a shout out to her and you. My best friend Lauren. Last time I went to a playoff game, hockey game. Besides you, Mike, I was with Lauren. So I wanted to give a shout out to them and um, I love them. I love both of them. I love your mom. I never met her, but I know she raised a really good son. You met Lauren, so I love her. So I just want to just kind of throw my love out there for them.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that too. I mean, I won't lie. It was tough. That one New Year's game that had happened. 2019. And we ended up leaving in the middle of the game when her doctor called me multiple times and kept trying to bug me. And I was ignoring him. And I was just like, why does he keep calling me? And then obviously I picked up the phone during the intermission and told me the news. So I was like, well, okay, I'm done. I didn't finish the game. We actually just drove back, went to the hotel. They're super nice, gave us back the other rooms that we had, and just went home. And then I ended up going back later because I just wanted to like complete it, I guess, or I don't know, some weird way, but I wanted to go back on New Year's when the Ducks played Vegas and at least be there the whole game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like it just gave me a little bit of closure or something because I felt, you know, I don't know. Maybe my mom would have wanted me to stay at that game at the time when it happened, but I just I don't know. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I just at that time it's just too much of an emotional train wreck and left, and I just had to bounce out. It is what it is. That's how I felt. So yeah, and Lauren as well, met her in different games and hanging out and watch
Yeah.
parties and things like that, so um hopefully the Ducks can go out and win another series for both of them, and we can take out Vegas. I mean, it's exciting. This is gonna be a fun series because we've never played the Knights in the playoffs, and here it is. And I'm really pumped up. I feel good about this team. As long as they can carry that momentum over from Game 6, I think they're in a good spot. If they blow up the first periods like they did in some of those games against Edmonton, then maybe not. So we'll have to see. But either way, it's going to be fun. I'm pumped up. I'm excited. Like I said, we'll have another show too. And Eddie, I'll throw it back to you if you got anything else as we close out.
No, I think I said everything I wanted to say. I just wanted to throw it out there for your mom and for Lauren too, and just for anyone that's been dealing with bullshit. Hey, we're here for you, and hey, you know what? Ducks are second round of the playoffs. Like, who would have thought that? So I'm looking forward to talking more hockey with you guys, especially past the regular season. So let's go Ducks, right, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just the way to wrap it up, man. We'll be at some of these games and hang out and check it out. And as always, let's go Ducks.